Good afternoon. I'm here to share Tales from the Sweet Brook, number 9, Trusting God Through Tough Times. Have you ever been through tough times and when really the only thing you could do was trust God? I have. I just found out yesterday about a good friend of mine from Vandalia who has the coronavirus, and he's going through some tough times. I think he's going to make it, do okay, but nevertheless, it hasn't been easy. We had a situation like that back in 1972. In the summer of 72, I had quit my job as an installment loan officer at First National Bank, because that really wasn't what my future should be, and decided to go into teaching. So I took student teaching that summer. That was the only thing I was lacking for certification in Illinois. I did it at the Greenville Elementary School in a summer reading program with Mrs. Crum and Mrs. Keister, wonderful teachers who had lots of experience. And I was looking for a job. I did some painting that summer to earn some money, painting houses. I don't really like painting houses, but it doesn't matter if you like it or not. If it's something you can do and you can keep food on the table for your family and pay the bills, it's okay. In October, the 1st of that year, I found out that a school in St. Elmo, Illinois, had an opening because a teacher had gotten ill and had to take a medical leave. It was an odd combination of things. It was junior high, language arts, social studies, and chorus. Now, I'm not certified in music, although I've taken a lot of music. I'm not certified in social studies either. I probably could have been considered certified in English because of my speech background. Well, nevertheless, I decided to take that job, and it would last for the rest of that year. One of the highlights I remember of that job was that I had that junior high course. It was fun, great bunch of kids, and it was interesting. I had a wonderful young lady who was in 8th grade who could play anything on the piano. So Kay Williams became my accompanist. We took the course to contest, and I believe, if I remember right, we went to state and got a first. That made me feel good. One of the glitches of working there was that I had a junior high study hall in the cafeteria on the last hour of the afternoon. And it was a study hall combination practice time for solos and ensembles. Now just think about that for a moment. You're supposed to be keeping order in a study hall and keeping kids studying, but you're working with people who are singing or playing instruments. It made no sense whatsoever. But I tried to do it. Sometimes the study hall got kind of noisy, I'm sure. It was interesting that I found out that the superintendent and principal were always spending lots of time during that hour in the kitchen, supposedly working on the stove. I don't know. I always kind of had a suspicion they were checking me out. But whatever happened, I can't verify that for sure. But the end of the year came and I didn't have a job. I think it was mostly because I really wasn't certified in all those areas, although I don't know what else was involved. So here I am at the end of the school year, 1973. No job again, starting over. What am I going to do? Well, that summer I painted houses, and fall came, no job. I applied several places and just nothing was happening. So I decided, well, Norman and I were thinking about this, and I still can remember the place we were sitting at the kitchen table in our house on Eastern. I can picture it very vividly. And we decided to pray about it. Lord, what would you have us to do? We had a child that was going to be born in October 1st, Jill. I had people saying, why in the world are you having a child when you don't have a job? I thought, well, that's really none of your business. I never neglected taking care of my family. So we sat there and we talked and we prayed, and it was like a light came on. Have you ever thought about going to graduate school? I had spent some years in the military, and so I had veterans assistance coming. So I decided to check into it. What if I went to SIU Edwardsville, which was within driving distance, about a 35 to 45 minute drive? What if I did that? Would that help? And I found out that I could earn $400 a month, which seemed okay back then. Now it wouldn't sound like much. $400 a month and all my tuition paid. And classes were in the evening, usually from 5 to 10, somewhere in that range. 2 or 3 afternoons a week, evenings a week. So I got involved with that. I got permission to do that. I got accepted at SIU Edwardsville on a Master's of Science in Education, Educational Administration degree. And that worked, and I could do that in the evening. During the day, I could paint houses, and I could substitute teach whenever there were jobs offered me. And we never missed a bill. We were able to pay our house payment. Of course, payments were fairly low back then, but it was $120 or $150 a month. I can't remember. So we did that. That went on. The second semester came along, and I got a contact from Litchfield School District in Illinois. They had an opening for someone to be a full-time substitute from February to the end of the year in junior high English. Was I interested? Of course I was interested. And Mr. Sealshot was my principal, and Mrs. Dees was the teacher I was going to be teaching for while she was on maternity. So I started that job, and it went well. And it lasted until the end of the semester, and then the superintendent talked to me and said, I have a possible opening for you. How would you like to be a 4th and 5th grade teacher, building principal at an outlying school called New Hope Elementary School? I really want you, I'm recommending you for that job. Sounds wonderful. So we proceeded to look for houses. And we found one that we liked, and I put $1,000 down on it, subject to my getting the job. Fortunately, I put that in there. And the ultimate happened. Guess what? It fell through. The board decided they weren't going to keep that school open more than another year, and they didn't really want to hire somebody for that position. And I thought to myself, what in the world am I going to do now? But the song came to my mind. God will make a way when there seems to be no way. He works in ways we cannot see. He will make a way for me. He will be my guide. Hold me closely to his side. With love and strength for each new day. He will make a way. He will make a way. So the plan got changed. I wouldn't go to Litchfield. And it all was working out anyway. In the words of Jeremiah 29:11, for I know I have plans for you, declares the Lord, plans to prosper you and not to harm you, plans to give you hope in the future. That verse helped me. God had a better plan. Just a little glitch along the way. I continued to go to grad school, paint houses, look for another opening. So in late summer of 1974, a 5th grade opening happened at Mulberry Grove. I would be teaching the only 5th grade class. And I found out later that this would be a very difficult class, but I'd better make it because I didn't want to lose my job. I continued to take classes 2 or 3 evenings a week at SIUE. I would stop by home, get a plate of finger food that Norma had prepared, head to Edwardsville. Sometimes I would fall asleep as I was driving into campus, waking up as I arrived and wonder, how did I get here? I continued that plan until I got my second grad degree in 1980, and in 1976, I complicated things a little bit by taking on a small church in Sorrento, Illinois, along with graduate school and teaching at Mulberry Grove and raising a family. My wife was a wonderful help during this time. I don't know what I would have done without Norma. We moved to Michigan later, and when they were interviewing Jeff to see if he was ready for kindergarten, they asked him, "What does your father do?" He said, "He preaches." "What else does he do?" "Nothing. He just preaches." They thought that was a simplistic answer and that he maybe wasn't ready for kindergarten, but we knew better, because what he was really saying was, he used to teach, he used to preach, he used to go to grad school, and now he's just preaching. Well, we got through this chapter of our lives and now could move on to a new one. Catherine Winkworth wrote this poem, "If thou but suffer God to guide thee and hope in him through all thy ways, he'll give thee strength whate'er betide thee and bear thee through the evil days. Who trusts in God's unchanging love builds on the rock that naught can move. Be patient and await his leisure, in cheerful hope with heart content, to take whatever the Father's pleasure and his discerning love hath sent. Nor doubt, our inmost wants are known to him who chose us for his own. So trust God through the dark times. He'll bring you through and into the light. Have a great day."